guys, welcome back to the best station in the nation here today. We are trying out some cover crops, mostly thanks to a neighbor who cut this for silage over here for his cattle just across the street, and had a guy custom plant this rye. How he did it is he made a planter and he put it on 15-inch centers, meaning the rows of rye are 15 inches apart. The idea behind that is we should be able to squeeze our planters in between each of those 15 inches of rye. It hopefully doesn't affect planting as much, but still get the benefits of having a cover crop. We're trying it out, see how it works. It doesn't look very lush and green right now because about not quite a week ago. Anyway, interrupted by the radio again. So yeah, about 5 days ago we sprayed this off with a high dose of Roundup and some other stuff too with our bean pre-emerge spray. It's dying out. Hopefully it keeps dying. That's always a concern of introducing another crop, is just being able to kill it out, because if you can't kill it all out, it's going to be competition for the other crop that you're trying to grow. And it's kind of rough right here. So we're trying it. A little wet spot right here. Try to carry the planter through that mud hole. I think I made it okay. So yeah, the key will be keeping the planter in line with the other guy's planter, which we shared our headings, and so everything seems to be lined up pretty good in that direction. And so we'll see how this thing yields this year. You got to be really careful because you're introducing a potential competitor if it's not managed right. And to do this over mass acres, I mean, if you had a bunch of cover crops and you couldn't get them killed in time, or just couldn't get it managed right, that's going to reduce yield quickly, because I mean, technically it's kind of a weed in the eyes of these soybeans or corn, so it's going to be taking nutrients. I mean, it's just a management deal, so that's kind of what I'm getting at. So to do these on a large scale, we're still kind of trying to figure out where they belong, where they should be, and things like that. I know a lot of other people are further along in this than we are, but we're trying. But it's just another deal, management, and then you got the extra costs, but it could have benefits, so we'll see. So if we look here, you can kind of see this isn't as tall as up there and on the hill was, but we're going in between the row, or the, man, look at that nice mulch buildup of till going in the ground. Sorry, I got a phone call there, but you get the gist. We're going in between the rows of the rye, and as long as I keep the planter in between there, it looks like it's doing okay. So it's just, this field's really rough at the bottom. This had a lot of water run through last year, and it just really kind of made it bumpy. Needs disked 4 times and then harrowed another 10 times, and then I think it would be smoothed out, but I don't think we're gonna do that anytime soon. So well, ladies and gentlemen, we're on our way to the last field. Well, I ran out of seed for the night, so there should be planting 2020 Eve close. I don't know how you'd say that, but Brother Tom's just over that little mound over there. Man, that was a beautiful sunset. Can't beat it out here, guys. Makes this time of night enjoyable. Got an air leak somewhere here. Well, anyway, when I can see better, I'll check it in the morning. It's on my clean sweep air compressor, so in the morning I'll make sure everything's okay. I'm not really using it right now since we're on no-till. I kind of leave my row cleaners on float for no-till. It does a pretty good job. I'm gonna walk over here, check to see what kind of seed we got left on, left over to get done. This is the hardest thing, is kind of making sure you're gonna run out correctly when you get close to being done. You don't want to have too much left over. But no, it's supposed to get chilly tonight. If I shoot like this, it lights me up better. No, tonight's supposed to get pretty frosty. I think we have a frost warning, but everything we have is kind of still in the ground or just poking out. Corn's fine. Right now, if its growing point is under the ground, it won't hurt it too much. It'll just kind of make those top leaves poking out. Beans, you don't really want those out of the ground at all because they just can't take it whenever they start to come out of the ground. So if they get cold very long, it doesn't take much to nip them. So that's kind of why we've usually planted beans after, just because you can always get that late frost and they don't like it. But I don't know, we'll see how it goes. But all of our beans are still in the ground anyway, so hopefully they'll stay warm. You know, put them in the ground, be like a blanket for them. So, well, I'm gonna go home, hopefully get a good night's sleep and wake up, get her done. Looks like I left a light on in the tractor. That's annoying, especially after you get everything all locked up. I was using it to find my billfold. Good night, Johnny Tractor. Good night, Polly Planner. Lord willing, this could be the last day of Plant 2020 for us, you know, other than potentially helping somebody else out or replant. Gonna make sure everything rolls. Tom must be a little more excited than me. He got started just a hair early. There's actually another section on this, but earlier in the year, a couple days ago, it broke. So we're getting by now. Still works, but this is all loose. So I've had this window mount all year long, so maybe I should try using it, see if it actually works. Then you guys can tell me how it works. What do you think? Can you hear me all right? So I got asked the question the other day about planting beans before corn and why we plant our corn before beans. Well, it's kind of a thing lately for farmers to try planting beans earlier and wait a little bit on the corn, or just try to do them at the same time and try to really push the envelope on beans. And I think some guys it's worked a little bit for, and some guys it hasn't. The reason why we still kind of plant corn first is that's kind of our main crop. It's the one we really try to get finished early, because corn relies a little more exclusively on heat units. And what I mean by that, it takes so much heat for that crop to produce its to get to maturity. And beans are a little bit more dependent on the sun and the light exposure, because when it starts to get to fall and you get less sunlight, those beans will actually start to turn just because of that sunlight. And they'll know when to shut down. They're a little smarter than corn that way, just to kind of know, okay, it's starting to become fall, we need to start shutting down. Whatever we got, we're taking it, you know. Where corn, it's a little more selfish. It won't quit until it gets all that heat units, whether it's getting to be late fall. And so I guess it's our kind of goal to try to plant corn and capture as much of those heat units as we can. Beans, it's nice to be able to capture as much as you can. The only problem with beans is when you plant them and once they start poking out of the ground, the top of that seed is actually exposed, and if that gets frozen, it'll die. Where corn, even though it's got leaves shooting up above the ground, the growing point is actually still usually behind probably by a week or so, just because it's about, I don't know, maybe yay down from the top leaves. I can't tell you all the scientific stuff. That's why maybe I explain things well, just because I'm dumb. And maybe it doesn't even make sense, I don't know. But the corn's growing point will still be kind of under the ground. And so it's still protected from these freezes. And this week, actually last night here, May 9th, we had a 28 degrees. And if we had any beans exposed, they would probably die or be hurt to extreme temp, to an extent. They'd probably be harmed. Well, our corn, we got some that's starting to poke its leaves to the ground, but we're not quite worried about those because, yeah, those leaves might get nipped and kind of turn brown, but that growing point's under the ground being protected by the soil. And so that's kind of one of the reasons is why we don't plant until after. Plus, if you can get your beans planted by May 10th, you're sitting pretty good. Actually, last year we were in the 20th. I can't remember the exact days, but we're kind of into later May, and we still had 70, 80, and some 90 bushel beans. And so I'm not so worried about trying to push that envelope yet, anyway, on planting early beans. Whether it's going to be a fad or not, who knows? Maybe it's working for some, and so, you know, whatever. Every farm's different, every location's different, and so I don't want to sit here and say it doesn't work, and it does work. So maybe it does, maybe it don't for others, but right now that's kind of our philosophy as of now. It could change because, you know, we're always trying to push the envelope on some of these things, and if we ever see validity to any of these ideas, we'll sure try them out. So I don't want to be one of those guys that is super opinionated and say this is how it works, this is how it doesn't, because this is farming. Hey, if we knew what the year was going to be, we would have probably a lot different plans right now, but we don't. We have to do what kind of usually works and what usually don't work, and so that's what we have to go off of. So hopefully that makes sense, and please ask questions about it as well. Doing the last touches on Plant 2020. Brothers over there doing some ends. We're kind of doubling up on some of these ends, splitting the row a little bit, just seeing if that'll help with weed pressure, just kind of on these ends, because that's usually where your pressure comes. Plus, we're just trying to get rid of some of the seed left over in our boxes. D-O-N-E. Done. Thank you, Lord. Somebody mowed. Geez, I don't know if they left room for me. So you got my forks, check. Bucket, check. Skid steer, check. Digger, check. Let's go do work. Catch you on the next one, guys.